this whole idea of Siddhis. People are skeptical and afraid of Siddhis. So for instance, third eye awakening, even though it's empirically shown, because I think they feel that either it is some kind of black magic and something wrong must be going on, or they're somehow uncomfortable with it. But I wanted to have your view, because I feel that Siddhis are basically science, which the ordinary person has not yet discovered, and few people have discovered. So if some airplane is flying over a very primitive society, they will think that this is magic, that this is some kind of a miracle. But it is not a miracle to the person who understands it. So one quality is that there are knowledgeable people for whom it is just a scientific thing, and it can be taught. Now that is another thing. Sai Baba had Siddhis, but he was not teaching others to have them. But you have Siddhis and you're teaching others to have third eye awakening. And this idea of the fact that many other kids have third eye awakening, and they are free to go and be measured, evaluated in scientific clinics. You haven't stopped them. They can be evaluated.
And we are doing everything to make it more and more scientific, and means studying we are encouraging all the studies.
Yes, because also it's very interesting that different children are having different experiences. So depending on their own level and their own conditioning and whatever, somebody sees it from here, somebody sees it from there, somebody can see clairvoyance, distance, somebody else cannot. So we are discovering, just like scientists, discovering lot of interesting things which did not fit the old thought. And then they have to find out why it is like this, and if you heat the temperature, then it becomes something else. So they are discovering all these things, and now now we have to figure out. So this is the stage I think we are in, the rediscovery and revalidation of ancient knowledge. Do you feel that that's how we should look at it? Siddhis as science?
I'll present the basic few truths. People have one stupid fellows who think it is not possible. They are too stupid.
Yes.
That is one group.
Yes.
Second, kind of a paranoid that it is stopping our growth towards enlightenment.
Yes.
Which is not true.
Yes.
I wanted this important truth to be understood. Patanjali speaks Siddhis as destruction for enlightenment, because the methodology he provides is, when you are traveling towards enlightenment, you will manifest these powers. That is the science based on what Patanjali is offering.
Right.
There is one more science by Sadashiva much before Patanjali called Shashtanga Yoga. In Yogapada, there Siddhis manifest only from the space of oneness. They do not manifest on the way to enlightenment. So Sadashiva calls them as Shaktis, not Siddhis.
Okay.
So the science I am following is from the Yogapada of Sadashiva. The more you experience enlightenment and oneness, more you will manifest powers. What I am presenting to the world is not Siddhis as described by Patanjali.
Okay.
It is Shaktis as described by Sadashiva.
This is very important.
Sadashiva gives a structure called Shashtanga Yoga. Patanjali gives a structure called Ashtanga Yoga. Both lead to enlightenment. Sadashiva has delivered it in Agama 60,000 years before. Patanjali is actually a disciple of Sadashiva. He delivers it the way he understood and way his generation needed it. When he lived, what was the need of the people? For him, for them, he delivered it. So what I am offering to the world, whether my kids doing third eye reading, or they are able to see what is happening somewhere, even thousands of kilometers apart, I think you can have your own personal experience.
Yeah, he told me many things. Yeah, correct things.
And seeing beyond the distance, all these are not Siddhis as described in Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Patanjali. They are Shaktis as described by Sadashiva in Shashtanga Yoga, in Agamas Yogapada. In Agamas Yogapada, Sadashiva very clearly describes. So, these Shaktis do not stop somebody reaching enlightenment. And they manifest only if that person is rooted in the enlightened state. See, for example, if you ask a person who does third eye reading from Patanjali tradition, he will say he concentrates himself and completely centers, does pratyahara, dharana, and then he manifests that power. But if you ask my disciple how he is manifesting the power, all he will say is he goes to that oneness. That oneness is manifesting the power. There is no concentration. There is no meditation. Dharana, dhyana, samadhi has a different meaning in Shashtanga than the meaning in Ashtanga.
Very good.
The tradition I am following, I have been taught by my gurus, is the tradition of Sadashiva's Agamas.
Very good.
It is based on Upanishads, practiced as Agama. So the whole idea is different. It is not Siddhi, it is Shakti. And it is not before enlightenment, it is after enlightenment.
That's
it is not towards the oneness, it is from oneness. It is not of enlightenment, it is from enlightenment.
That's very, very impressive.
That is the major difference. That is one. Second, when we do not analyze the Shastras thoroughly, many gurus criticize my initiating people into healing. They do even openly declare healing should not be done. These powers should not be manifested. And some gurus even openly declare, when they were asked about third eye, for God's sake, don't try to open it. I do not know what is the reason and what is the context, and I have nothing to comment. But one thing I can be sure, whatever I am saying now, I am responsible. What I am teaching is from original Agamas Yogapada. The science very clearly declares, Sadashiva is very clear, manifestation of these powers happen when you experience oneness with Sadashiva, not on the way to experience oneness with Sadashiva. Patanjali declares all these Siddhis are experienced on the way to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So they can be distraction to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sadashiva very clearly declares these are manifesting in his tradition. See, each tradition has a structure, a separate architecture. Separate architecture. You may be surprised. In Shashtanga, Sadashiva talks about different ways, and he explains the pranayama pratyahara in a totally different context. So the whole structure is different. There he says very clearly, these powers start manifesting from experience of oneness. Means after the Nirvikalpa Samadhi they start manifesting.
But the Patanjali system became more popular, at least nowadays.
See, Patanjali system became popular, Sadashiva's system did not become popular for various reasons, because the Sadashiva system needs somebody who is grounded in that. It comes more with the guru-disciple parampara. Patanjali, you can just pick up a book on the shelf. You do not need a guru. You don't need to read Sanskrit. You can be very proud about you don't know the Sanskrit language. And it can be easily hijacked.
Yes.
But the Sadashiva system needs a basic requirement of initiation by enlightened guru.
Shaktipat. So
Shaktipat. Shaktipat, initiation and training by an enlightened master. So naturally, the requirements and prerequisites of this tradition did not allow this tradition to be mass circulated.
Which is very good actually. It protects it.
Good or bad, that is one.
Yeah.
This is the reality.
This is the reality.
This is the reality. But just because Patanjali's system has become popular, no one has a right to say, other than that, no other thought current exists.
Right.
And anybody who manifests these extraordinary powers is only expressing Siddhis, and that will distract people from enlightenment. The whole thing is irrelevant when you are in the path of Sadashivas as per Yogapada of Agama, because here whatever is manifested, there is no concentration or any mind game used. It is from the oneness expressed. They are not Siddhis, they are Shaktis.
That's very good. Beautiful.
And I also want to assure all my disciples and followers, express, manifest as many powers as Mahadeva describes. You will not be deviated from the enlightenment. You will be more and more rooted in the oneness experience. You do not need to have the oris generated by Patanjalas. You are Adishaivas. Lot of confusions about Siddhis is because of Patanjalas, the followers of Patanjali. And unfortunately, even in the system of Patanjali, they have not reached the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So they are not able to understand some other traditions exist.
Right. It's
Some
just
other possibilities exist.
Yes.
See, Sadashiva very clearly says, every pattern you complete and achieve completion manifests as one power, Shakti. Playing with that Shakti, manifesting that Shakti does not take you away from enlightenment. It grounds you more and more in oneness. Manifesting and playing with the power itself becomes a spiritual practice to be grounded in oneness in Sadashiva's tradition.
Very good.
Anybody who is ready to challenge me as per this tradition, I am ready to face them for Vakyartha Sadas or Kandana Mandana or Vada Pradivada.
Good.
I am open. And I will also demonstrate these Siddhis and prove to them they are not Siddhis as per Patanjali's. They are pure Shaktis as per Sadashiva. See, there is a big difference. When somebody expresses Siddhis as per Patanjali, his brain will not show Turiya state, the ultimate awareness and ultimate restfulness.
Yes.
I can demonstrate the Siddhis not only through me, any of my disciple, not only they will manifest Siddhis, their brain will be in the same frequency of ultimate restful awareness and ultimate awareness,
So some
which is Turiya, the oneness state,
So neuroscientists should do some brain scan work on these students.
which we are already working, which we are already started doing.
That would be should be published in scientific journals.
You see,
because that's very solid proof.
when somebody is in the state of the ultimate awareness and ultimate rest, that can be clearly recorded by the modern day equipments,
Yes.
which we have tried many times, and it shows very clearly that no thought, that Turiya state.
Yes.
Whenever my disciples manifest powers, it always shows the brain is in the Turiya state.
Right.
It means it is not Siddhi, it is Shakti.
Right.
They are manifesting oneness. They are not having these powers when they are towards oneness, when they are having these powers because they are rooted in oneness.